Yo, welcomes Lawrence to his family to Old School Knicks. Old School Knicks, y'all know what it is. It's a journey down memory lane. We'll talk some current Knicks stuff, mostly focused on old school Knicks and things that happened in the past. Reminiscing about a few things. I'm your man, Uncle Freezy, and I'm joined by the star, of Old School Knicks and the co-host Anthony D. Anthony D, how you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing all right, Uncle Freezy. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Nick Nation out there, all the Nick Army that's out there holding it down. Absolutely. We back here again, old school at 11 a.m. to do what we do. So let's kick it off. And you know me, I like to start with recent history. Well, let's keep the fans in abreast in some of our conversation, because we started this conversation 15, 20 minutes ago.
Of course, as usual.
And I started off, trying to be cool and suave, but I started getting hot. I started getting pissed off.
Yes, I'm still mad, bro.
Mad. Boy, I'm so tight. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with Nick Nation, So this way the show can be better, and we can always be better and more honest with everybody, because it was me, you, and Sergeant G-Man for life. We was on the phone together chopping it up. But let's go right into it as far as with the recent history. I look at this team as a team where Tibbs is still growing and molding his team, this team. But he's making some obvious mistakes, right? In particular with Obi Toppin. I told you off air what I thought of Obi and how his game is just looking like he's a pimple that's ready to burst, right? Mm-hmm. He just wants to get out there. He wants to do it. And you're playing Taj Gibson in minutes where he should be playing. The small ball lineup, it's begging for small ball. It's begging to have him and Julius on the floor at the same time together. But the coach, for some particular reason, Obi is hot, you sit him down.
Sit him.
You're sitting down a 23-year-old because why?
Athlete.
You're sitting down a 23-year-old thoroughbred athlete in this game who's windmilling on people, right? In games, and you're sitting him down because what exactly?
No reason.
You see what I'm saying? It's not making any sense. And, the journey is long. The road is, it's going to be rocky at times and so forth, but you don't have to hurt yourself. Right. You don't have to do things that's making it tougher than it needs to be. I'm looking at Tibbs on the sideline, and he's looking like he's about to have a stroke on every play.
Every play.
But you're out coaching yourself. You're doing things that's just not making any sense with this.
You mind if G-Man join?
Absolutely. G-Man, get in here, baby. Let's get it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna send it to G-Man real quick. All right. So let me send this to G-Man.
So for the Knicks fans out there, please let us know in the chat. Like, am I wrong? Am I saying something? Am I saying something that's out of pocket? One of the things that we talked about earlier a few minutes ago was one of the beauties in that Golden State's run was when they went to that death lineup.
The Hampton Five.
Right. And you got what's the name at center, you got Green at center, you got this 6'5" guy at power forward, and they dared you to do something. They dared you to match up with it, because why? It didn't matter. They had the best of who they thought was the best parts of their team, and this is before KD got there, the best parts of their team, and dared you to match up with it, but they weren't doing it for long stretches of the game. It's like, okay, we're gonna do it for this 5 minutes in the first half, 7 minutes in the third quarter, 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. And you're thinking that we're doing it all game, but it's when we're doing it and you can't match up with it.
It
and
just feel like it. It just feel like you're doing it all game.
It felt like it. It just felt like they're doing it so much and you can't match up with it.
Right.
Okay. And and what makes it easier, well, when you win a championship, things get easier, but the brazenness of the coach to say, hey, I'm doing it anyway. G man.
AD, what's good, my brother?
Absolutely, we here, baby. We here trying to spaz, trying to get it off my chest. I was telling the fans how we started earlier a few minutes ago, and I was trying to be calm, cool, and collected, and I just couldn't stop. I got so mad, I got so heated. Like I was like, Freezy, start the show. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's go.
This and to the fans, this is what it's like all the time. This is what Uncle Freezy's life is like all the time. Like I just had this telephone call with AD, right? And G-Man, but a few hours ago I had a similar phone call with Staffa Don and Soulfinger.
Right.
And then Friday I had the same telephone call with Chop Low and some other and Delano Steele and some others.
Hold on, let me do my Chop Low. Real quick.
Yeah, man.
Chop.
Yeah, man. And so what I want to say to AD, and I don't know if you are aware, but the Carolina Knicks went to the Charlotte game. We represented. It was myself, Rob the Nick, Uncle Fulio, Staffa Don, Divine from Knicks Real Talk. Hey, Divine is a good dude too. I chopped it up with Divine, man. We had a ball.
Okay.
I think Jay Boogie was in the building. We didn't meet up with him though.
Okay.
So the Carolina Knicks, we got together so that, you know what I'm saying, we could, represent. But Anthony D, let me tell you this. So there was about 13 or 14,000 people in attendance at Spectrum Center, right?
Right.
7,500, 8,000 was Knicks fans.
Wow.
I heard him.
Bro. And so the cap was so crazy for Charlotte, right? They doing their home arena thing, right? So we were so loud. AD, listen, we were so loud in Spectrum Center that they had to pipe in crowd noise to drown us out.
Wow.
They had to pipe in crowd noise to drown us out, and you could tell they was piping it in because we looked at the Hornets fans. They were sitting down. They were sitting down doing shit like this right here. Look. but over the speakers, it sounded like Charlotte fans wasn't even doing nothing. They was on their phone. They was drinking they fancy drinks. Charlotte crowd is mad bougie, bro.
It's a bad basketball town. It's one of the things that when Jordan, their franchise, finally got some luck in their life, because I was watching LaMelo ball, and I've been on the record saying that I would have hired his father as an assistant coach. Okay, yeah. I would have brought in the whole Ball family. I'd have had his mom cooking in the kitchen. Everybody would have been a part of it, because when you have a city like that's similar to New Orleans, that's not a basketball city.
And Atlanta.
Yes. That's college football town right there.
Yep.
When you have a natural kind of hype and something that you can, you know what I'm saying, that you can build around this. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally, like back in the days when they used to have the life-size pictures of Muggsy Bogues and Lonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson outside the arena.
Yeah.
That was the time to recapture that fuel, that energy. Right. But that Michael Jordan and his, managerial skills or whatever has not been the best. So hopefully, it doesn't work out for them, because I'm a Knicks fan. So
yeah, man.
I ain't wishing nobody, G-Man, I ain't wishing nobody no good luck. I ain't wishing nobody no luck but us. For us, baby. But G-Man, get in here, baby.
Hey, and Muggsy Bogues was sitting with us, AD. I meant to tell you that.
Okay.
Muggsy Bogues was sitting, you know how we were sitting on a flight deck, right?
Muggsy, what, a 14 year veteran?
Yeah.
Did he last 14 years?
Yeah, he was sitting on the. He was like, "Yo, what is Lawrence Tears?" And I had the Lawrence Tears Debate League Championship belt with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed it to him. I was like, "This is it right here. This is us." Right? He was like, "Oh yeah, that's fly. That's fly." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Muggsy
I remember when he got drafted, when Washington drafted him number 12 overall.
Yeah.
And people were like,
they lost their mind.
Yeah, people were like, are they out of their mind?
Yep.
But it was always like that whenever since junior high school, I've been hearing about Muggsy Bogues.
Yep.
His high school team, I think he played out there in somewhere in the Maryland area.
Yeah, he played in Baltimore in DeMatha.
Right, with him and a couple of cats that actually went to that ended up going to Georgetown. They were like the top 1, top 2 high school team in America. And whenever you saw this kid come on the court, he would just give people the business.
Yep, you couldn't stop him, bro.
You couldn't stop him at 5'3". It looked like, well, I'm gonna post him up. I'm gonna take him down low. I'm gonna until he ripped the ball from you.
Yeah.
Because his center of gravity, he's down here,
right.
And you're trying to. So imagine a guy 6'6", 6'7". So you got to get even lower to keep him off of you because he's down here trying to rip the ball out from under you. But Muggsy Bogues, shout out to Muggsy, man, one of those underrated players.
Good guy.
In NBA history that we don't talk enough about.
Yeah, good guy, man.
I would say this, gentlemen. And I'm sure this will be talked about in the coming weeks and you know the different pods and everything else that's going on, right? I am not the type of person historically that overreacts, right? I like to be calculated. I like to bring in all the evidence, analyze, and then make a determination on what the course of action should be moving forward, right? May not always be popular. Not even by any stretch of the imagination, right? But I'm telling you from G-Man's perspective, this is what I feel we need to do in order to be successful. I'm telling you right now, today. Now understand, I'm gonna go back for a minute and I'm gonna bring you back. I'm gonna do it real quick, right? I'm gonna say, let me move this cup out of the way. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say last year, the New York Knicks said that we need to bring in shooting. We need offensive scoring. We got the defense on lock. This is what we're asking for. So we go out and we bring in a Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Okay. So in doing so, we say we understand there will be a drop-off from the defensive side of the ball. But the offensive side should have us, someplace in the middle. So let me tell you what happened. Fast forward to what's real right now, 13 games into the season, right? Right now, what I've looked at a game where Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier both had identical stats. They only scored 2 points each, right? So between your backcourt, you're only getting 2 points. So number one, what you're not providing, we already knew that you were a defensive liability, right? But you're not even providing offense. So if you're not expending energy on the defensive side of the court, why can't you make a shot? Why?
Yep.
And people understand that is a liability, because if you watch the games that we've lost, these games that people get so enamored with that they feel like the Knicks should have won, if you go back and watch those games, see who gets beat. I have not seen a play yet where Evan Fournier is fronting his man. The only time I see Evan Fournier play defense, he's chasing his man to the basket and fouling him on the basket.
Because he can't stay in front of him, G-Man.
He can't. Same thing with Kemba. I'm going to lay it out where it is, right? Okay, once again, I preface this statement by saying, understand there will be a defensive drop-off. I get it. It's still painful to watch, but if you're going to get beat, at least when you go to the other end of the court, give me a high percentage shot.
Like Derrick Rose.
Because
Derrick Rose get beat defensively all the time, but he can at least score.
He does. And the way, and that's important for you, because the way that Derrick Rose scores is not that he just comes down court and jacks up a three. He makes high percentage shots. When he feels like he can't get the three, Derrick Rose is still confident enough in his game that he can take somebody off the dribble and take him to the bucket. And sometimes, guess what? Gets a 3-point play because he'll get fouled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I don't think, AD, to your point, I think right now where we are, understand the discrepancies in what Tom wants to do as a coach and then what we have on a roster. I think that in that, from that aspect, we need to take a legit hard look at what the foundation of this team is going to be.
He's got to. Made my chop low. The parts of his problems is not utilizing the guys that he already has on the team.
Right.
And see, when I talk about a Grimes, I'm not saying you start Grimes. I'm not saying you play Grimes 25, 30 minutes.
Right.
I'm saying when you see the other team is cooking at those pivotal positions, which is point, shooting, or if you want to go a 3-guard offense, in one of those pivotal spots, you throw him in for 5-10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I'll be
right back. Hold on.
Okay. So G-Man, what my thing is with Tibbs, but is this. Tibbs is undermanned, bro. This roster that we got, and I know this is old school Knicks, right? I know this is old school Knicks, y'all, and we trust we about to get into the past, right? But Tibbs is undermanned, bro. And I think I told you on the telephone, but Tibbs, out of the 10-man rotation, Tibbs has only got 4 players. The only 4 players I would keep out of this rotation is Obi, Quickly, RJ, and Julius. Everybody else can go. And not in a trade in the offseason tomorrow. Bro, wow. They can go to Evan Fournier. Listen, Evan Fournier at 6'7" was guarding LaMelo Ball, who's 6'7", right? LaMelo signed, the coach was calling the play. The coach was like something like Cougar. And Melo was like, no. Because Fournier had stepped out on LaMelo at the top of the key.
Right.
And the coach was calling like Cougar, spread. LaMelo was, no. I got this right here on me. And you know what he did, AD? The coach was like, reset. You know what I'm saying? Just telling everybody, listen to Melo, right? Melo was like, no, everybody stay where y'all at, don't move, right? LaMelo was like, looked at Fournier, he was like, I'm about to take you. and AD, he just took F1, he just went right by him, bro. It's like, you know how you be driving on the interstate, you be in your family SUV, and you can see the headlights coming up in your rearview mirror?
Yes, sir.
And you like, I ain't getting out the fast lane for, you know what I'm saying? And then you realize it's a Camaro or a Corvette, you know what I'm saying? And you get over and that joker passed by you so fast, your car be shaking.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it was like. LaMelo Ball went by Evan Fournier so fast that RJ Barrett had left his man to double. Melo kicked it out to a dude on the wing. RJ scrambled back to that dude. And then they kicked it to a dude in the corner, and the dude RJ wound up scrambling and contesting the dude in the corner, right?
Okay. Let's pick up on that. Let's pick up on that, Freezy.
Well, let me finish though. I'm gonna finish because I got a point to it. So the dude in the corner hit the 3 in RJ face, right? And it was about 20 people behind me. They was like, "Oh man, why RJ letting people shoot 3s in his face?" And that sums up the Knicks fan base right there. They saw RJ Barrett give up a 3, but what they didn't do was talk about how Evan Fournier got beat, and the defense accordingly had to scramble, and RJ scrambled to a dude that wasn't even his man to contest that shot, and they blamed RJ Barrett for it. And that sums up what it's like as a Knicks fan.
They do things, for instance, their defensive philosophy. they'll come right out and they'll start doubling somebody before he's even hot.
Right.
Yeah.
That too.
Wow.
When you double somebody, I saw them doing this against Greek Freak the other night, the last game, and Freak had like 2 points in the first half.
Yeah.
But yet you're doubling him. You're doubling somebody he's not even hot. He hasn't even hit a couple of shots yet. Right out the gate, you're doubling. When you double, you put your defense. You put your defense at what? At a weakness because they got to scramble.
That's right. Over energy.
And you got a couple of guys in your starting lineup that are not good defenders as it is.
Yeah.
But you're gonna blame Randall because Randall was late to get to a guy on the rotation, so you blaming Randall. That's classic Knicks fan.
And I hope he's out there watching, because I want him to walk up in here. Okay? I want him to walk up in here from Knicks Freestyle. You know who I'm talking about, Free Key. Okay? I want you to walk up in here so I can eviscerate you up in here with that Kemba and what else did he say? They playing chess, not checkers. They playing marbles.
Marbles, bro. They playing jacks, bro.
They playing jacks, and no one don't know how to jump to pick up no jacks after the ball bounce. I want him. I'm calling him out. Find him. Someone tell Keith to walk up in here so I can chop his head off real quick. Okay?
No.
All that Kemba nonsense. Kemba, what?
Kemba is washed, bro. Kemba is washed. Kemba is washed, bro.
Absolutely. His leg is bad. And I'm not even saying he's washed totally, but remember, he played 43 games last year with Boston. Yeah. He averaged 19 point something per game. That's less than a year ago.
Right.
Where did that 19 point something per game go in 43 games?
AD, I would take you one better, brother. I would say even though whatever his skill set was, whatever the drop off was, whatever injuries or rehab he had to come back from, when we signed Kemba Walker this year, the expectation was for Kemba Walker, not on the defensive side, on the offensive side of the ball, to produce at least 11 points a game. I just want my 11 points, bro. Can I get my 11 points? That's all I want. Give me 11 points a night and we good. But when you come into the building and you scoring 2 points, not scoring, or you sitting on the bench, I'm wasting my money right now.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
And I'm not saying, to Freezy's point, someplace on this roster is the answer. I don't know how we get to the answer or what that situation looks like. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be painful to watch. I'm taking that to heart right now, because when I'm watching from our team when we play ball, there is no way, shape, form, or fashion. If you're telling me I'm up 23 points in the first half of the game, and you allow a team to come back in the second half, and I've always said this, I'm on record for saying this, the third quarter for the New York Knicks is atrocious. Has been for the longest. I don't know what it is, why we can't put things together coming out of the locker room, but we played like we a new school team, that this is the first time that Freezy, AD, and the other two players that we just picked up off the chalkboard in the park have played together. And you allow these teams to run you out of the gym, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, you feel like, okay, we're going to make a run back. Why? For what? I'm going to take you back to the Chicago game for 2 seconds, right?
Yes.
In that Chicago game, my opinion was there is no way that Chicago should have even been in the game. But this is the exact what I described was what happened. We allowed Chicago to get back up in the game. And the saving grace to take us from a W to an L was R.J. Barrett studying the person that he was defending, his childhood hero, knowing that he was going to pump fake. And he did not go for the pump fake. And this man was forced to take a ill-advised shot and they lost the game. That could have very easily went a totally different way.
Yep.
But I don't want to get to that play. I want to get to the point of how do you allow a team to climb back from a 23-point deficit, 20-plus point deficit, to be in contention to win the game. And that has been our mantra for the longest.
Right.
Without the bench this year so far, it would look pretty gruesome.
Yep.
It would be pretty gruesome. And he's got to do better. The coaches just got to do better. But some of their problems goes back to the beginning of, what they put in place. Mitch was hurt coming into the season. You had no more intel or no better intel than what your doctors told you with Mitch and his rehabbing.
Yeah.
Then New Orleans got hurt. You're bringing in offensive pieces. Your supportive defensive pieces has to be on point to pick up the misgivings of some of these offensive guys.
Right.
You elected to spend the money on things that you need. And I'm going to come around and say it. Andre Drummond got what from Philly? $5 million?
Yep.
Yeah.
He did.
There's a big that you needed.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard got what to go back to LA? $3 million?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a big that you needed. You needed that kind of those kind of stabling forces to add on. And this is no disrespect to Taj, because Taj gives you everything he has. Taj is one step closer to being an assistant coach than he is one step closer to being a real player.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just the difference. Someone that could come in here and grab that key rebound, get on the glass, smack that shot when you have to get it. When someone is driving by you. The couple of weeks ago, me and Freezy got on there. Freezy, I blasted Mitch. I opened up 2 barrels and gave it 2 to his back. Right? Yep. He's still hurting, whatever, but he needs help. He's not all the way back, and plus, he's gained 40 pounds.
45.
Excuse me, 45 pounds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who told him he needed to look like Shaq?
Really though.
Who told him he needed all these muscles?
Great point.
Right? Who told them that they needed to get him into a place? This is not 90s basketball. He's a unique athletic talent that used to be able to guard the 3-point line.
Yeah,
right? You used to be able to throw him out there because what? With that left hand, he could block your shot.
Yep.
All of a sudden now he's still hurt. Yes, he's still laboring, but it does him no good that he's carrying an extra 45 pounds. Just because Drummond slapped him around a couple of times over the last couple of years, he decided he needed to go get 45 pounds as if he's playing Drummond 41 nights a game.
That's facts.
A season.
Right.
Facts. And I always say your best ability is your availability. And then when you start to get hurt and you try, understand there's a difference between being injured and being hurt, right? So as a coaching staff, what we need to realize is it worth me playing a Mitchell Robinson in a Charlotte game to where he could potentially worsen his injury or take away from that rehab period that he needs to be healthy for the mid stretch or the post All-Star break, right? These are the things we need to think about, because on the front end of the schedule, although we like to see our team be successful and whatnot, you need to understand what your limitations are, and what are you going to do to limit those limitations to make these guys available to play hard basketball down the stretch when it really counts. Because these games, let's be honest, these games we're talking about right here, they don't really count. This is a fill-out period. This is for me to figure out on my roster who can play with whom, what that rotation looks like, what the continuity is between X player and Y player. That's what we're looking at right now. So if it doesn't work, I got a chance now to kind of figure something else out. But if you
up until Christmas,
exactly
up until Christmas,
So
day after Christmas, it's a whole nother ball game.
We having a whole different conversation actually. That period, we're having a whole different conversation because it's real deal Holyfield at that point, right? So I say all that to say this, and people, depending on what your fandom is and how you follow basketball, whatever the case may be, we're all at different levels, right? I've been watching basketball for a long time. You can tell by this gray right here, right? I look like Gandalf on Lord of the Rings right now, right? But I would tell you one thing, and I told this to Freezy we were on the call earlier, AD. I was like, understand this is not 90s basketball, right? But how, on what planet is it feasible for you to come out first play of the drive, and your first inkling is to throw up a three?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I mean, I'm just saying. So in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, because sometimes I'm down here in this Florida sun. Sometimes I'll be outside in the sun too long, and my brain get baked. But I'm telling you right now, if I'm the head coach of the basketball team, the first play that we're gonna have is I want the ball in the paint. I want to pound the ball in the paint.
And can we just get a little bit of that?
Give me a high percentage shot close to the basket so you can establish a dominance in the paint and cause your opponent to have something to think about. And then guess what that does? On the back end, at some point, the defense is going to collapse on me or whoever I have in the paint. So that opens up the guys on the perimeter. That gives you a wide open three.
But your best paint player, to your point, G-Man for life, your best paint player wants to be above the 3-point line. He want to be a guard. He want to orchestrate the offense.
Yeah.
Isn't he? And when he gets down there in the paint, he want to fade away.
All true.
Don't think I don't notice that, Julius.
When
you get the ball on the paint,
but AD, how he gonna go to the paint and Mitch can't? And Mitch is in the paint already.
Again,
you know Mitch hurt,
but
it ain't like Mitch shooting threes.
But it's a part of what I said earlier. He hurt, sit him down, put Obi in.
But bro, what I'm saying, okay, all right. So let me so I want to shift it to old school Knicks just real quick, right?
Shift.
I want to shift it.
Yes,
to old
because
Knicks.
I need to take it down because my blood is boiling. Shift.
Right. And so I'm actually I think I'm going to make it worse because I got a topic for you and I want you to address it. And so for one, I just want to thank G-Man for life for coming through and joining the chat with us. Usually the chat is locked. Usually it's just Anthony D and myself, you know what I'm saying, talking old school Knicks. So we appreciate the fact that G-Man for life came through and is hanging out with us.
Fitting in there with that damn Giants thing behind him too. You won one game. Can you stop it? Can you stop it?
Can we act like we've been here before?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Just act like we've been here before. That's
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You saw him earlier. He lifted it up, tried to act like he was stretching. He lifted it.
And so AD, listen, this is what I want to get to. I would just want to get 30 or 40 seconds just to say this thing, and then I want to cue you up and get your thoughts. This roster is a disaster. Leon Rose is being outfoxed by the entire league, right? He went out and signed and hyped up a washed up point guard. Now that we see him play, we know Kemba is washed and is not getting better. Evan Fournier is our second highest paid player, and he is giving you nothing, right? But and then the draft, the rumor was that the Knicks could not trade up in the draft, right? But the Knicks have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year, and they had 1 first-round pick that they drafted Quentin Grimes. And people are telling me that the Knicks could not have taken 5 first-round picks and traded up in this year's draft to get a guy like Scotty Barnes, who would have been a defensive stalwart at small forward, and RJ could have stayed at the 2, right? But here's the thing that I want to get to. Do you believe last year's playoff run hurt the long-term development of this Knicks franchise? Because Fournier is trash. Kemba is trash. Alec Burks is exactly what we thought he was every 4 games. Derrick Rose can't defend. Taj Gibson gets $5 million a year for absolutely nothing when we could have gave that money to Drummond, right? Mitch is hurt. Nerlens Noel has played in 2, maybe 3 games. Maybe, yeah. Nerlens Noel, with all that money we signed him to, he makes more money than JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Andre Drummond put together, right? But he plays for us, right? Do you believe last year's run to the playoffs was a misnomer or was a mistake? Do you feel like we should have took that as a development year for RJ and the young players, showcase RJ and the young players, so that the beginning of this season we'll have a more developed RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Emmanuel Quickly?
One word, no.
Okay.
With an exclamation point.
Okay.
Cool.
That had nothing to do with the off season. You see, when they first signed Evan Fournier, I was on Sim's show, and I'm gonna go verbatim what I said. I said I could name 75 ball players better than Evan Fournier. And I'm gonna call you out. Chef Zeke told me, go ahead. If it wasn't for
Chef Zay.
Yeah,
Chef Zay, not Chef Zay.
I call him Zeke. He know me, right?
I got you.
I said,
Isaiah.
I said, for the mere fact that we don't got enough time, or Sim was like, we don't got enough time for that. And I was like, for the mere fact that we don't have enough time, I could easily name 75 ball players that I would rather have before Evan Fournier, because to quote my Wire reference, he was a 40-degree day. You have 40-degree day. As my man said, 40 degrees, cats get to start barbecuing. But no one don't like 40-degree day. You can't do nothing with 40 degrees.
Right.
That's what he is. Okay, a nice, okay piece, but Boston wasn't giving him 4 years, $80 million.
No.
At all. The first move that the ex-coach did as the new general manager was to eject Kemba Walker.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What did OKC do? OKC wasn't trying to hold on. OKC said, "What? You'll take a buyout? You'll take 50 cents on the dollar?
Get him out of here." Yeah.
Yep.
Knicks sitting there. We need a point guard. We need additional point guard help. And this is a part of the problem. And I hate going back to these things, but did you know what? It makes me feel good. All right? It makes me feel good because I know I ain't crazy. Okay, so people want to give Leon Rose the pass. So when he first came on 3 seasons ago, prior to the NBA trading deadline and so forth, when there was pieces to get, and you could have gotten them, and then you did not, and then you're holding on your first draft. Don't get me wrong, I love Obi, right? I love Obi. You let point guards, you used to manage Chris Paul.
Yes.
Right? These are the things that last year's going to the playoffs, it didn't stunt, the youth development. It's like the carrot to the rabbit. Now you want more. See what I'm saying? Losing can affect your psyche.
Yes.
You keep losing, right? You keep losing. Remember David Carr?
Yep.
with the Texans.
Yep.
They
Yep.
drafted David Carr. David Carr gets sacked 150 times in 2 years.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right? You don't put an offensive line around him, all of a sudden he's washed in
Because they were
3
getting
years.
weapons instead of linemen.
Instead of linemen.
They were getting weapons. Remember that? They got Andre Johnson. Remember Andre Johnson? Andre
You're
Johnson
getting-
can't
you're
block,
getting-
bro.
You can't block. You're getting wide receivers and running backs and whatever, but you don't have people. You don't have where it's most important for that kind of position, which is to keep him upright, being that he's not mobile.
Right.
And even if he was mobile after the first season, that was done.
Yeah. Facts.
Right? It's the same thing.
And it was done because he didn't lose athletic ability. It was because he was shell shocked.
It was beat out of him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, it was beat out. Whoever he was, whatever they thought he could have been, after that first season, that dude looked up and was like, "I could become a congressman."
Yeah, because what people forget too is Eli. Because people forget, like Archie Manning was a scrambling quarterback, right?
Yep.
And Eli Manning used to run at Ole Miss. I
Yes,
live
he
in
did.
South Carolina. I watched
Yep.
Eli Manning. They used to run quarterback sprint outs with Eli Manning. Eli Manning. They older brother Cooper was a wide receiver.
Yep.
You know, so Eli Manning could run.
Yeah, it's the same. After a while,
they beat that running out of Eli in New York, though, bro.
yeah. As much as I, have defecated on Randall for his playoff performance last year. Am I giving that back? Going to the playoffs, winning those 9 straight games in a row? Nah, no way. No way. It was the off season, and I said it so many times. It's like, okay, let's see the pieces that you put in place. Okay, let's see those pieces. Okay, the only thing that was smart on their part is outside of the Fournier's deal, everybody else's deal is only 2 years.
Yeah.
So if I may, and I'm gonna make this short, sweet, and to the point, right? I believe that your level of success breeds misinformation, and I'll say that. I said that to say this, right? Because it's easy for you to go into a situation when you're winning, when all cylinders clicking together, and then you make the move that you believe that will elevate, what we have done in the past. So when we go back and look at the playoff run that we made last year, it's the same thing that I talked about when we talk about that winning stretch that we went on. If that put us in a situation to where we became kind of numb to what the real situations were or the real concerns were with the basketball team. We kind of omitted those and said, we're successful. We don't need to address this right now. We get there later on. So we make the playoffs. We get ousted in the playoffs in the first round against an Atlanta team. So the very first thing we say is the New York Knicks need scoring. Based on what we've seen this past year, so we want to go to scoring. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be the first to tell you, I have no qualms about Elf and moving him out. No qualms at all. None. but however, this is where I come to you, right? It's the equivalent of me going to a used car lot dealership. There is the car that I've always wanted in my life, Mercy Alargo, right? It's sitting on the lot right now. It's got probably like 80,000 miles on it. But guess what? I can buy it at a decent price, but I get no type of warranty at all. So anytime the car breaks, I got to bring it back and I got to get it fixed out of my own pocket. That's Kimball Walker. Then my wife says, I'm tired of the car that I'm driving. I need a new car. I want a brand new SUV. What kind of SUV do you want? I want a Land Rover. Everybody knows Land Rovers has horrible reliability.
Why do they even make them?
I don't know. I do not know. But that's what she wants. And guess what? Happy wife, Happy life.
Happy life.
I'm gonna go get you your Land Rover.
Your Land Rover, your Range Rover.
Your Range Rover, whatever it is, I'm gonna go get it for you. But when it breaks, and I gotta take money out of things that you want to do to go on this vacation.
Your jewelry budget. Don't be talking about you want some new rings or new necklace, new earrings. No
earrings. No,
we fixing that Range Rover.
No. I got to go fix your Range Rover. That's your ring budget right there, right? That's Evan Fournier. I'm telling you right now, guys.
Your girls want to go to the Bahamas and you can't go. You know why? Because I got to fix your Range Rover.
Exactly. That's what you wanted.
That's what you wanted, right? Sorry, Bahamas.
We have to be careful what we ask for, and this is what we're living right now. We knew, and people kind of
G-Man spying on us. He looking at me in the smoke window. That's what's happening. He knew exactly what was going on. I must have told you about that in the previous conversation.
No, you didn't.
No, okay.
You did.
Okay, all right.
I would tell you this, right? Certain things, when they go right, we kind of gloss over what's going on. Because I'm telling you right now, these Evan Fournier questions or comments that we're having right now, we didn't have when we saw that game with Evan and Julius playing that dynamic duo, because they was lighting it up. And I was like, okay, this could be something. I have never seen that since. So to me, that's a one-off. Everybody, like they say, the old saying, the sun shines on a dog's backside every once in a while, right? Yeah. And that was that time. But I'm telling you right now, I agree with what Freezy said, and the chat can come for me or whatever the case may be. But I'm at the point right now where I'm tired of sugarcoating things. I'm tired of making excuses for people that are not holding up their end of whatever their contractual situation should or could be. If you are a professional basketball player, I'm paying you $5+ million a year, $40+ million a year. And the only thing I'm asking you is to give me 11 points a game, and you can't do that. Guess what? You got to go. I'm sorry. You got to go.
That's what I was asking Anthony D. Like, was this blip on the radar? The Knicks playoff series against Atlanta, was that a blip on the radar that made it? Basically, what I'm getting at is this: did we overestimate how good we were as a franchise by making a playoff?
I think yes, I think we overestimated, but it could have been. You could have gotten other pieces to help your analysis.
Okay.
You see, you could have gotten other pieces to help your analysis because it's your intel. See what I'm saying? Who knew Mitch was that hurt? You did.
Right.
Who knew New Orleans was that hurt? You did.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Who knows that Derrick Rose has only played a certain amount of games over the last however many years? Everybody knows.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So this thing of wait and see. They're stockpiling this, they're stockpiling that for who?
For what?
Who are you stockpiling this for? For what year? 2040?
Right.
2045?
Hey, you bring up a valid point, and it just triggers something in my head, right? When Freezy asked a question about last year's playoffs, I think that where the Knicks falter right now, and when I say this, I want you to take a deep breath, count to 3, and then respond. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that we know that success breeds a sense of being able to overachieve. You're playing against your station, above your station at this point, right? But when at one point last year, at the beginning of last year, we talked about building a foundation, right? But when you start winning 9-10 games in a row, you make the playoffs in the first time in the last 30 seasons or whatever the case may be, that leads you to believe that you're more successful than what you are. That takes you away from the blueprint that AD, Uncle Freezy, and G-Man sat at the board table and said, this is what we're going to do to build this franchise. Regardless of what happens, if we're successful, we're still sticking to this model. We got away from that model, and we go out and pick up the Kemba Walkers and the Evan Fourniers because we think they're going to get us more points. And this is what people don't understand. Freezy, I can take you right now. If you are you're a chemical NCO at the division level,
Right.
and I've been watching you from afar, and I'm running a brigade.
Right.
I say I want Uncle Freezy to leave division, come to the brigade, and run my chemical organization. Now,
Right.
Freezy was a rock star at division because he had all these assets around him, all these things that he can tap into to make him successful. I bring you to the brigade level, that diminishes the amount of resources you have to tap into. And then, oh, by the way, I got 2 people on my team that can't stand Uncle Freezy. So whatever Uncle Freezy says, they're not going to do. So you don't have that chemistry. That you cannot take into consideration. Okay, let me back up. Take into consideration what a person has done in their previous stint, but you can expect that same performance when they come to your organization because the team is totally different. It's totally different. They gotta figure out where they get in. And I'm gonna get off my high horse. But fellas, listen, I appreciate this is a rare honor for me to be on the same screen with my man AD on Knicks Old School. Look, I'm gonna write this down in my diary for sure. I'm telling you right now, it's going down. But I got some things I need to do. But fellas, again, I enjoy being here. Thanks.
Absolutely.
And anytime, anything I can do for you brothers, you know.
So mi casa is su casa. Whenever you're ready, just flow all by, my brother.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate y'all.
Hi, big time.
Breezy, I'm gonna get off this topic. I thought we were leaving it alone. I'm gonna get off this topic because you have managed to keep my blood at a certain level. And it's Sunday. I'm trying to remain cool. I'm trying to remain mellow. I'm trying to be mellow. Right? I'm trying to be mellow. So let's slide over to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right.
We're starting with the good.
So wait a minute. Before we get there, let me ask you this. So we're doing the good and the bad and the ugly about what topic?
Stephon Marbury. And he's taking all 3 parts.
Okay. So we want to transition to some Steph Marbury. Let me address Paris Duggar super chat first. Paris Duggar, thank you for your generous contribution. He says, y'all are so off base. This is about Tibbs. The coach isn't coaching Randall. Tibbs not properly playing our athleticism and sticking to a hot lineup. I just want to say
you missed the first 45 minutes, Parrish. We ate Tibbs up.
Yeah.
Parrish, my brother, you missed the first 45 minutes. Definitely. Go back. Yeah. We ate Tibbs alive.
Yeah. So we're about to talk about Steph Marbury. We wanted to talk about this about 3 weeks ago, and we didn't get the opportunity to do so. So you want to warm up first before we get into Steph Marbury, or you want to just jump into the good and bad?
Let's jump right into it.
Okay. All right. So we start with the
already warm.
So we're gonna start with the good. We're gonna start with the good.
We already percolating. Absolutely.
All right.
The good for us Knicks fans, we're always into the feel good. Hometown boy comes back. We're happy. We're seeing the possibilities of a hometown hero leading us to promised land.
Yeah.
And especially when our hometown hero, no disrespect, Kemba, isn't washed. When the Knicks got Stephon Marbury was 25 years old. Stephon Marbury at that time was still top 1, 2, 3 point guard in the game.
Yep.
Okay. Capable
top four, definitely.
Top 4, whatever. Capable of going crazy on certain nights. I still remember him and Iverson in that playoff, in that All-Star game that time when the West was way ahead and they led the comeback, and the East won the
and his shoes were fire by the and his shoes, the Starberries were on fire when he got there.
I want to talk about his philanthropy.
Okay.
And the things that he did for the urban residents and constituents of not just the tri-state area, but just all over. Before I really touch on his basketball, his his skills and so forth. Stephon Marbury created with, I think the store was Bill and Bradbury. I can't remember the name of the store, but they made the Starberry shoe for an affordable price of $40. Okay, yeah. Not just the Starberry shoe, but everything Starberry. You know, jerseys, T-shirts, everything. Stephon Marbury would pull up to the Bronx, Brooklyn, place all over the tri-state area and outside the tri-state with trailers of clothing.
Yep.
And just give it away.
And give it away. Yep.
And just give it away. Right?
Yep. Yep.
That's where his heart was for, you know, he never forgot where he came from, which is Coney Island, Brooklyn.
Coney Island. Abraham Lincoln, Lincoln High.
Yes. Was a star.
Yep.
Okay. And for those of us who remember, you know, Steph from his humble beginnings, and all his brothers played basketball, his cousins played basketball, Telfair, you know, the whole shebang.
His brothers, honestly, may have been better than him. One of his brothers may have been better than him, but never got the shot he deserved. I forget which brother it was. His brother was like 6'7".
Right. I think he ended up playing overseas.
Yeah.
I think he ended up playing overseas and so forth. But the thing is, when we talk about Steph and when we remember Steph in New York, we remember him for it not working out.
Right.
For the Isaiah Thomas, which then led to Anuka Brown Sanders, which led to just the entire unraveling of a player and of the franchise. And we never remember the good that came with him. You see what I'm saying? So I always wonder, because I remember my nephew played on Starberry's, one of his youth league teams. Yeah. You know, played on, because that's the kind of guy that Steph was. Steph gave back. Steph still has barbershops in Coney Island where kids can go in there and get their haircuts for free.
Right.
You know, still doing things for the community. You know, the good within him was that at some point in time, he realized, you know what, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I got to get out of America. Okay. I got to go someplace and rehabilitate myself and come back to something before this whole thing destroys me and kills me as a human being.
Yeah.
So I always want to remember that, even though it didn't work out, and we probably gave up, when we traded for, we took on too much. We took on Anthony Hardaway, who was washed, but we got a player similar to Melo that we didn't know what to do with.
Right. We
get Stephon Marbury, and a year and a half later, he goes out and gets Jerome James and Eddie Curry.
Oh God, man, why you? Is this the good? Is this the good? Is this the good? Okay, I'm confused because you told me this was gonna be the good.
Well, the good was, Steph, him being his skill set, him being a dynamic player at Georgia Tech, him being a dynamic player before then,
right.
Just that whole one of New York City great basketball players to ever come out of New York City in the tri-state area.
Right.
And so forth. And, averaging in the prime of his career, 20 points, 21 points, 8.5 assists and so forth. So that was the good. Now, the bad. Yikes. Where do I start with the bad? Okay.
Larry Brown.
Yikes. Woo. Okay. You then bring in a coach that has never liked any point guard he has ever coached.
Ever.
And from the moment Larry Brown got here, he was at odds with Steph.
Yep.
Okay? You bring in Larry Brown 1 week. Next week, you sign Jerome James. Then 3 weeks later, you bring in Eddie Curry. Oh,
Man, what the hell? What the hell we doing, bro? What the hell? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? This guy, I can't get over this stuff because we constantly talk about it, bro. I swear to God, bro, I can't get over it. Hey, AD, so listen, I want you to continue.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me backtrack. Let me do one even better. You bring in Vin Baker before you brought in.
You go get Vin Baker out of rehab. You don't just go get him, bro. You go get him out of rehab. He's 50 pounds overweight. You know what I'm saying? He had played in the league in like 9 months. So you go get him out of rehab, bro. Vin Baker is 6'11". Vin Baker in his prime was 6'11", 240. When we get him, he's 290.
Yeah. Oh. And I'll do you one better than that. You go to Phoenix. Phoenix has Joe Johnson and Q Richardson.
Right.
Phoenix is about to trade Joe Johnson to Atlanta, but for somehow, some way, you pluck Q Richardson, who wants to be Mr. Olympia.
Yep.
Right? You bring in Q Rich, who, from the moment they got him and Steph never clicked. Q Rich is Fournier.
Hey, AD, talk about the asking price. Can you talk about the asking price first?
They gave him 7 years, 40. I think he just signed his contract with Phoenix, maybe like the month before. So we got a fresh 6-year, $42 million contract from Q Richardson.
Bro, the reason why we didn't get Joe Johnson is because the Knicks didn't want to give Phoenix a first-round pick.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Wait a minute. So you don't give up a first-round pick for Joe Johnson, but you give up a first-round pick.
Multiple.
My head is hurting, bro.
You give up multiple picks for Eddie Curry. Unprotected multiple picks for Eddie Curry. Unprotected multiple picks.
Yo, you gave up 2 unprotected first-round picks for Andrea Bagiani. And a young wing player in Landry Fields.
It didn't happen. I guess we can't talk about Steph without talking about Isaiah, because Isaiah brought him here and he was the architect of that team. And, it's hard to say anything nice about Isaiah. His tenure with the Knicks. All-time great basketball player, no question.
Right.
Top whatever. Whatever you want to mention as a basketball player, right. Top and his name synonymous.
Right.
As a general manager, head executive of an organization, especially with the Knicks, that first year when we got Marbury, we actually went to the playoffs. When they hired oh my God, Lenny Wilkins. When they hired Lenny, traded for Nazim Muhammad, and we had who's the wing that we had from Jersey?
Tim Thomas.
No, before we got Tim Thomas. We had him before Tim Thomas. We ended up trading him, the white gentleman. Oh my God. Keith Van Horn, right? We had Keith Van Horn. They didn't like that situation.
Keith Van Horn wasn't bad though.
He wasn't bad. And him and Marbury actually played well together. For some particular reason, they didn't like that. In fact, Marbury played well with him. Marbury also played well with Thomas, but him and Thomas didn't get along. You see, so they trade. We went to the playoffs that year. We got smoked by the Nets, no question.
Yep.
Where Tim Thomas utters the famous Fugazi line.
Oh my God.
But we got smoked, right? But we actually made the playoffs. And it seemed like we were going someplace. And then the following off season, Isaiah just goes on a mad, diabolical wizard whatever, mix and match, and decides to just go crazy and just
why do you need 4 centers?
Oh my God.
Why do we need 4 centers, bro?
You can't talk about Marbury's career here without talking about Isaiah. They're synonymous. They're linked forever. And Marbury was still a star ball player. That you bring in Jamal Crawford. I like Jamal in Chicago. I thought Jamal was a good piece to have.
Right.
I didn't think
but
Jamal.
He was not a starter.
No, Jamal's role, what Jamal eventually became in the NBA and his other stops, is what he should have been with the Knicks.
With the Knicks, yep.
That
but his
6
skills,
man,
but his skills was so weak.
He had, oh my God, I saw Jamal Crawford hit 16 straight in the Garden. He should have been the one that literally, and this to show you how just silly Isaiah is. He was the one that should have broke Bernard King's Garden record. He had 52 points. They took him out with like six minutes to go.
Yeah.
He hit 16 straight field goals. He had 52 points. Isaiah takes him out, and I'm like, you're 8 points away from the Garden record. If it should be broken, it should be broken by a Knick.
Yeah.
Why are you taking him out when he's sizzling? I mean, you won the game, yes, but So
But we're not going to the finals. So why not let us enjoy this moment?
Yes. You let Kobe come break it. Then finally, eventually, Melo came back and took it.
But Isaiah didn't know that. Isaiah didn't know that. Though.
Isaiah was just it's one of those things that was just it got bad, worse, and just totally just off of the radar with him. And it wasn't all Steph's fault, but Steph got beaten up by the media so bad.
Right.
And let's go to the ugly.
You want to go to the ugly. You want to go to the ugly.
Yeah, let's go to the ugly because I'm already in the ugly. You bring in D'Antoni. You tell Steph that he needs to be in the best shape. Mind you, Steph was always in tremendous basketball shape.
Tremendous shape.
I've seen Steph in person, walking down Fifth Avenue years later, no longer playing with the Knicks, still looked like he was 19 years old.
Right.
Always. It's kind of like Mayweather. Doesn't matter what time of the season, he's always in condition. Right? You bring in Fool Antoni. Steph averaged, I think, that preseason, I think he shot like 65%.
Yeah.
He went crazy. Like, no one could guard him. You had, who was the point guard we had at the time that ran Fool Antoni's system? Oh, God, his name is
Duhan.
Yes, Duhan. You take the ball away from Steph and you start Chris Duhan. And then you sit Steph on the bench, and then Steph, whether you want to call it a good teammate or not, then goes to the towel. And he's sitting at the towel. You first 10 games, you told Steph, come, be in the best shape that you can, blah, 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 whatever. In what world is Chris Duhan on the same level of a basketball player as Stephon Marbury? No disrespect, Chris Duhan. Compared to Stephon Marbury, you're trash.
You know, Chris Duhan set the Knicks assist record that year, right?
Yeah, he had 24, I think.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Chris Duhan in high school had the potential to be one of the greatest point guards to ever play in the NBA, right? People don't know this. People don't know Chris Duhan's story from Louisiana. He was a sharpshooter. He was a sharpshooter in high school, right?
Okay.
Coach K wanted Chris Duhan so bad that he was like, well, I got this kid, Jason Williams, we call him Jay Williams, playing right now, but I promise you, when Jay Williams leaves, because he's going to be the #1 pick in the draft, and come to find out he wasn't. He should have been, but he wasn't. When Jay Williams leaves, this is going to be a team, right?
Right.
So
Right.
Coach K wound up getting Jay Williams and Chris Duhon to play in the backcourt at Duke together, right? And what happened was Chris Duhon got better off the ball at Duke because Jay Williams was the point guard.
Right.
Jay Williams should have been the #1 pick, but he had a problem where Jay
Who's
Williams,
number 2?
yeah, he was the #2 pick to the Chicago Bulls.
Right.
Right. But Jay Williams used to choke in big games. Not big games, but in huge games, like season on the line games. Jay Williams would miss free throws and do the whole Julius Randle thing, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But Duhon learned how to set up the offense off the ball, right? Like when Jay Williams is ISO and you're ready to take his man, he'd be like, no, come up top, set the screen, he'd be, communicating. So he learned how to be a better point guard at Duke than he was at high school. Dribble down the court, just pull up for 3, right? That was so. But Duhon, by the time Duhon got to the NBA, he was more of a general, like a extension of the coach type of point guard, right? And so I can understand where D'Antoni was going then, because Duhon at point guard was like the little general. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is the game plan we want to run it. And Duhon was like, okay, coach, I'm gonna run it just like what you said, right? No.
I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it because
I know, but Marbury is better.
I thought it was fake. I thought it was one of those things where personalities come in to it, and you're supposed to be professional. Because remember, D'Antoni coached Steph at Phoenix for that 1 year.
Yeah, and didn't like it.
And didn't like him. And remember, they had success because they went to the playoffs. They lost to San Antonio, but they went to the playoffs. But he didn't like Steph for some reason, or the way how Steph played. And he had a young Amari and Steph.
Yeah.
But whatever was going on in the locker room or behind the scenes or whatever, D'Antoni did not like him. Did not like the kind of point guard he was, which makes no sense because Steph is a scoring point guard.
Right.
That can pass. Everybody who's ever ran D'Antoni's system was a scoring point guard that could pass.
Right.
So what was it?
Yeah.
It had to be some personality situation. And if you knew you were going to do that to him, then why didn't you just trade him and just remove that kind of stench? Because I remember telling my friend this at the time. I said, Stephon Marbury makes news if he farts.
Yeah.
It makes news. Okay?
Yeah.
He can't do nothing and he doesn't make news. Just if you're gonna start cleaning fresh, start cleaning fresh. Just remove him from the situation. Right? Cut him.
Right.
Fine. Just do something.
Yeah.
But don't let him sit there. And then it got so ugly. And I always point this out. Stephon Marbury's father had a heart attack in Madison Square Garden and eventually died. That's how ugly it got here for Steph and the Knicks. So we can never,
Bro.
Talking about Steph, he deserved the whole entire segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's probably, you probably find another piece of something to add to that with his career here in New York and just his overall career. But he's a ball player and a personality that he doesn't get enough credit for the individual that he was and how good he was to his humble beginnings and where he came from. And not having the right. Sometimes you can get a legendary coach, Larry Brown. You can get a coach who wins a lot of games, Fool Antoni, and those not be the right pieces for the right coach for the pieces that you have.
Right.
I feel
you. Let me ask you this, because I need to get some clarity. Because over the years, the Knicks have had a lot of poisonous situations.
Mm.
I think the Knicks are on the verge of a poisonous situation right now.
Wow.
With this team, right? With this team that
Wow.
we have right now, the Knicks are on the verge. I'm telling, and AD, listen.
Wow.
You know I ain't no BSer. You know I keep it real with you, right?
Mm.
Yeah, you know I keep it real with you. I ain't got no
Absolutely.
reason to drum up drama.
Absolutely.
Right? But, bro, what was the? Let me ask. What was the most poisonous situation you think you've seen as a Knicks fan? Was it Marbury? Was it Carmelo? Was it Michael Ray Richardson?
Yeah. I think it was. It might have been the KP.
Oh, KP. I forgot about him.
Yeah, it might have been KP.
Think about it. Every few years we get a poisonous situation, right?
Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, the KP and Ewing's last year when they moved Ewing. Those were the two most poisonous situations that I saw.
When they traded Ewing and it fell through and Pat still had to play for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember they traded him and then it fell through because my man in Detroit didn't want to waive his no trade clause.
Right.
Oh.
And they eventually moved into Seattle, and I always say this, that organization wins championships. The organization also buries you.
Yeah.
Also, you can be at you can be in the gutter because of the people that you hire, because of the nonsense, because of shadow governments that the ownership is listening to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to the people that I hire. I'm gonna listen to my barber. I'm gonna listen to my maid's son because he knows basketball.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That those kind of things happen. You can get locked into, we mentioned this before. You can get locked into the Al Davis minds of thinking, go deep. That's all I want to do. Throw long.
Right. But you disguise it. You disguise it as just win, baby.
Just win, baby. You disguise it.
You disguise it as that. You know what I'm saying?
And then you you make, or Dolan then makes himself a villain amongst his own patrons.
Right. And that's supposed to be the safe haven.
That's supposed to be the safe haven because you've put yourself in a position that you don't need to be because you want a little bit of fame and some notoriety. You want to be the one that gets the credit for bringing back the franchise instead of hiring the right folks and sitting through. Now, to your point, as far as this could possibly go off.
So KP is more poisonous than Amari last 2 seasons.
Absolutely.
Well, you knew Amari was overpaid and he was hurt and he knew the Knicks wanted to
but Amari had cover. His cover was Carmelo. His cover was Linsanity.
Okay.
You see, KP had the franchise by the short and curlies.
Right. Okay.
You see, and the franchise knew this, and
more poisonous than the Tim Hardaway Jr. situation.
I'm glad that you mentioned, because I actually wanted to talk about Tim Hardaway Jr., but want to talk about with shooting guards, but before we touch there, with the whole KP thing, it became so bad that you have your overall number one pick, who was number 4, who has all this immense talent,
right? And
he has you by the short and curlies
and popularity.
And he white.
Yeah.
And KD called him the unicorn. So he rode that nickname for the next several years. And you don't know, you bring in Mills, or Mills is already there, but now Mills is in the big chair, and he doesn't know how to spin this. He doesn't know how to move on from this. Right. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't know how to turn and pivot out of this when it was there all along. Before the player is who he is now, which is he can't stay injury free. He's always hurt. Blah 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 blah. It's not working out with what's the name down in Dallas. AD, I've mentioned this several times before. AD was trying to get out of New Orleans.
Right.
There went your perfect trading partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see? But you have a bad guy at the top of your organization that every time they put a mic in front of Mills, and here's my biggest gripe with Mills. Mills never took any responsibility. It was like, oh, well, Phil wanted to do that, You brought in 9 new guys and you didn't have a press conference. You snuck them into the organization.
Right.
That's how shame you were.
Right.
Because
he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy.
My God, but he was hard. It was just they kept bringing him back. He was like Jason. Every 10 years, he kept coming back.
Right. Because the thing, at the end of the day, Steve Mills is not a doofus, right? He's a brilliant mind. He's just not a brilliant basketball mind.
Yes.
Right? He's a brilliant businessman, bro, that played basketball, right? He played basketball in college. Him and what's it, the coach from the Cavs that won the championship?
Yale or something like that, or Harvard. What?
Somewhere, yeah. Him and the coach from the Cavs played ball together.
All I remember is that they kept saying he had all these connections.
Man,
that's how he came from the
bodega. Well, he had bodega Wi-Fi. That's what it is. That's the connection, because he didn't have NBA front office connections.
He supposedly had all these connections, and when he got here, it was like, so where are these connections, my guy? Where are these? It was just. So I'm hoping that, and I think we're light years away from that with your assessment.
No,
because
no, bro.
They didn't take on monstrous contracts, but they didn't move in a way, and I'm in no way saying this season is over at all, but they didn't move in a way that made sense, that add the pieces that made sense, that would make sense.
Bro, AD, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Because I think we got about like 10 minutes or something. But listen, I want to say this to you. Leon Rose is in over his head, bro.
Whoa.
Leon Rose is in over his head.
Let me ask the chat, please. Let's throw that up there. Let's throw a poll in there. Do we believe that Leon Rose is over his head? Freezy is on one today. Whoa.
Yes, Leon Rose is in.
Whoa.
So, and I know you know basketball, right? You know talent. Me and you talked about the reason. Me and you talked about why the Knicks took Darryl Walker over Clyde Drexler. Remember that? Remember that? Not only did they take Darryl Walker over Clyde Drexler, they took him way before. They took Darryl Walker like what? I don't know. I won't get into that. But I would.
My chop low.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, Chop, I'm gonna have to take that, Chop. I'm gonna have to take that.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna tell you this. We went at the game, and for one, let me first shout out Knicks PR, because the most valuable player in the league the last 2 years has been Knicks PR. Right? Because when you go to the game and you watch the game on the sidelines, and then you watch the press conference after the game, bro, they are so opposite. You think, like, if you wasn't at the game, you would legit believe that this ain't even real, right? Like last year, we was at the playoff game in Atlanta, right? And we was watching Julius Randle and Derrick Rose break down RJ Barrett. It was like, no, RJ, don't do such and such and such. Do this. Right. And then at the end of the game, Tibbs was like, yeah, we was telling RJ to do such and such. And it was completely different. It was a lie. It was a lie. Because we saw Derrick Rose and Julius Randle pull RJ Barrett to the side. Right. It was like, and they was pointing on the floor like, no, stand in this corner. Don't move. because I'm gonna get in my move, and then I'm gonna kick it to you over here. He was pointing. Hoodie Cav and Rob the Nick was like, Uncle Freezy, look. They pulled me over to the railing and pointed out to me down on the floor where Rose and Randall was telling RJ, go stand in the corner. Right. Press conference was Tibbs was like, yeah, we was trying to get backside movement with RJ. We wanted him to move without the ball. Bro, how you talking about getting movement without the ball and Julius Randle and Derrick Rose is telling RJ to stand in the corner? Knicks PR is the GOAT. But what I'm saying is Friday night, Obi Toppin cussed out Tom Thibodeau so bad that I thought Obi wanted to put pause on him. Right? Julius Randle came to him and was like, yo, calm down. And Obi was snatching away from him. He was snatching away from Randle. It was like, yo, how you gonna take me out the game? And Taj Gibson, he pointed his finger was this close to Taj Gibson. He was like, yo, this MF right here ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? We saw it with our own eyes, bro. We saw it. He was pointing at Taj, like in Taj's face, like he ain't doing nothing, and they taking me out the game. Yeah. Right. And so at the end of the game, they're like, yeah, man, we just gotta gel. You know, the starters gotta do such and such. And you know what I'm saying? And then when you see Obi and all the things, Obi be smiling for the cameras and stuff. Knicks PR is the GOAT, bro.
I'm falling in line with you, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm gonna say this, AD. This is what I'm saying. If they don't start playing Obi and quickly more, Tom Thibodeau gonna lose this team, bro. Because
not just quickly, but just Grimes as well. It's Grimes and even McBride. Just you have an abundance of young talent that no one could be mad at you if you just said, you know what, this is not working out. Come trading deadline, move Fournier, move Kemba.
Right.
No one can be mad at you for that.
But AD,
not only that, move them and move Mitch as well. Noel. Yeah, no one can be mad at you for that because why? They're not in your long-term future.
Bro, what the point I'm getting at though, AD, is if you are a diehard fan, right? You a diehard Knicks fan, right? and you see certain things, right? You're a diehard Knicks fan.
Absolutely.
Right? But you're a fan, so you casual because you don't work for the organization. You're not a player. You're a fan, right?
Right.
If you see this stuff, you don't think the players in the locker room don't see it?
Yeah.
Of course they see it. Of course, Obi know he need more minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, quickly know Kemba washed. Of course, Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes know that Evan Fournier can't play defense and they sitting on the bench. It's like no lie. It's like when Nick Van Exel was with the Lakers right ahead of Eddie Jones and Kobe Bryant, right? You didn't think Eddie Jones and Kobe Bryant knew they was better than Sedale 3 and Nick Van Exel? Nick Van Exel was an excellent player, right? But bro, don't get this twisted and start putting him in the conversation with Kobe Bryant, bro. Let's not get. Come on,
Nick the Quick was. I mean, they knew they was better than Sedale 3.
Right.
Nick the Quick was just, that's what happens when you have an abundance of youth. They think it's their time now.
Right. That's Brian. Hey, Byron the Frenchman Scott was on that team. Remember Byron Scott?
Yes.
People remember him as a head coach, but we remember him as Byron the Frenchman Scott, a wing, kind of like Quentin Grimes, a little bit more athletic than Grimes, right? But kind of like Grimes, right? He did an interview. He was like, "Yeah, coach want me to get in and do certain things, but I'm here to mentor Kobe." Right? He was like, "Yeah, they be calling me, but nah, I'm not gonna take up this minutes from this young man. This young man's special." Byron Scott, who had already won championships, playing with one of the greatest dudes to ever play, knew that the torch had to be passed to this young cat that they could not beat one-on-one in practice. Kobe Bryant was kicking their butt every day in practice and knew it. He was like, Byron Scott did an interview on the Ahmad Rashad show the NBA used to do. I forget.
Right.
They was like, yo, how's it feel to be back in LA? He was like, I'm glad to be here, bro. But this dude, Kobe Bryant, is special. And it was like, well, how do you feel about reuniting with the organization? He was like, this kid, Kobe Bryant, is special. He's going to be an all-time great. Why you keep talking about Kobe Bryant? Because this kid, Kobe Bryant, is special. You know what I'm saying?
And he's going to be all-time great.
Yeah. That's what Byron Scott was trying to tell him. And it was like, well,
yeah.
How do you feel about reuniting with the organization after playing for Vancouver and Indiana? And he's like, I know. I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about this kid.
This dude's going to be special, and he's going to be all-time great.
Yeah. But meanwhile, in New York, we got Evan Fournier playing in front of our young guys.
It's like I said earlier when G-Man was here, when I told him before that I could name 75 ball players that were better than him. It wasn't. I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. That's a dude. I wish I made it to the league. I wish I could, but sometimes you got to be real, and you got to be real with your analysis and remove your fandom out of the way. It's not going well at this moment in time. Again, let me preface to say it is a long journey.
Right.
But the coach, the way he's steering the ship, and I can't believe we got back here again, but the way he's steering the ship, he's not steering it in a way that you're not going to make everybody happy, but he's not steering it in a way where it's successful right now.
I think it's
if he doesn't watch it, it can really tank.
So let me ask you this. What has Leon Rose done in these 2 years? What move has he done that has impressed you?
I think that was impressed
aside
me
from
the
the Randall extension.
Not even the Randall extension. I think what he impressed me the most was when he was showing some faith in quickly, and he brought in a certain defensive mentality and a certain level of professionalism and just the camaraderie with the team. Because last year, even this year, although things is looking a little whatever, even this year, the team, the bench guys root for the guys who are in the game. And that's an atmosphere that's created by the coach.
No, so I said Leon Rose, not Tibbs.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, so as far as I thought you were talking about kids. My bad.
No. What has Leon Rose done so far to impress you?
Nothing. I liked the OB draft pick. I thought he should have moved Randall. Even up until this offseason, I still thought he should have moved Randall. I like the Tibbs hire, although I wanted to hire Mark Jackson. So he's had a couple of things. He hasn't impressed me though. He hasn't impressed me because I've been one of his biggest detractors going back to the very first when he was. My thing was this with him early. He didn't address Nick Nation. You see,
right?
And especially when you have your own network, you can
manipulate
the conversation however you want. You can let him know, I'm going to answer this, I'm going to answer this, I'm going to answer that. He came out with a press clipping and blah, 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 and that was it.
Yeah.
For me, even though you can be giving me company line speech or whatever, I want to be able to look in your face. I want to hear your basketball mentality, like your strategy of your attack. We didn't get that. We still haven't gotten that from him.
Right. He's
hired, people with a lot of basketball knowledge and credit and all that good stuff. And he's drafted some nice young pieces. Absolutely. But has he impressed me to this day? Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
He hasn't.
Because there were moments. I'm going to point back to the timeline, bro. And I think I may do this on the Knicks Morning Drive in the morning. But there are points on the Knicks timeline where the Knicks were on the clock and they fumbled the ball. Right? the trade deadline last season when
I
the
thought
Knicks
they
could have
fumbled. I was gonna say that they fumbled the ball at the trade
they
deadline.
fumbled the ball at the trade deadline when they could have
Yeah.
gone out and got a point
Yeah.
guard.
Yep.
They did not, right?
Yeah.
But what they did do was trade away guys for assets. They
Yep.
traded away Austin Rivers and
Yep.
Ignas Brazdeikis for second-round picks. Now they have so many second-round picks 2 years away from now that they can't use them all, right? It's like the dude that buy junk cars. Now he got 14 junk cars in the yard and he only drive one car. You know what I'm saying? That's barely running. The other ones he can't even fit. Now he got to get rid of them, and ain't nobody gonna buy them.
But you see, Nick Nation, even from when he first was talking about, oh, you got to be patient, you got to be this, you got to be that. No, you don't got to be anything. You know, we've suffered for so long without winning a championship. And the person that comes in with his team and his organization and stuff like that, they should be a certain level of expectation, certain level of pressure that should be attached to the position. You shouldn't feel like you can come in and sit down and be comfortable for 3 years before someone says anything. No.
Right.
That's 3 years lost.
Right.
He's lucky year one. Out the gate, they've made the playoffs, got a right coach, made the playoffs. Okay. Now you've got expectations, as you should.
AD, and you know
you
what else?
You can't go backwards, but even if you were to go backwards, at least you have young talent that you could sell it to the franchise. All right, boom.
We giving the young cats minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I'll tell you where else he fumbled the ball at. Not this offseason, but the offseason prior.
Yes.
When the Knicks needed a point guard, they cut Elfrid Payton, right? Thinking that they were gonna get Chris Paul, Ricky Rubio, Jeff Teague, Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo. All these dudes was available, right? They couldn't get any of them.
Not one of them.
And so they had to re-sign Elfrid Payton.
Yes. Not one of them. Not one of them. They didn't even get an interview with my man up in Toronto.
Fred VanVleet. Yep.
Fred VanVleet. Yep. It was so many. I also like Malik Beasley. Yep. The shooting guard. I'm like, wow, Beasley with nice hair. I mean, with so many, it was just so many things. And it's kind of like, all right, we're gonna go with this.
And we couldn't pull off anything.
No. And I mentioned it at that time and was kind of like, oh, give him a chance. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm the only one saying it. All right, fine.
Yo, and so it's one of those deals, bro, where it's like, what has the front office done to impress? You know,
I haven't been impressed. I have not been impressed. It's been a 40-degree day. It's been a 40-degree day. And some people have liked the moves. I remember I didn't, but you hope for the best because it's your squad.
Bro.
It's my squad.
But you had 5 first-round picks at your disposal and could have traded up in the draft, and then you didn't.
It's not just that. It's their offensive philosophy of coming out and just shooting threes and like you're gonna out three somebody. We've talked about this before, and I said, you know what? That can be fool's gold.
Right.
You can shoot your way into winning a game with threes, and then you can shoot your way into losing several other games by just doing that. You see? Because where's your philosophy? Where's your offensive philosophy? Is it just shooting threes? And for the most part, when they've been successful this year, they've hit more threes than anybody else.
Right.
Not there. Look at how Toronto attacked us.
Yep.
Look at that Toronto
with
team
speed and athleticism.
Oh my God! When I was so impressed with them, and I looked because I rewatched it. I rewatched all the games, but I rewatched that game, and I'm like, wow! Look at how they attacked us.
Right.
Look at how they got Trent Jr., another player that I wanted at the trading deadline that their guy was able to get, their gentleman was able to get, and we didn't even sniff at him. Right, a real two-way player. Right, can shoot threes, can defend. He was in our pocket all night long.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed with how they played the game, how they attacked us. Like, we couldn't even get off good threes.
Right.
They would be able to extend their defense beyond the 3-point line.
Yes. And comfortably, too.
Comfortably.
Yeah, bro.
With what? A young, what's the young man they got over there? Oh, my God. They drafted him this past year.
Scotty Barnes.
Barnes, but no, I don't think Barnes played in that game.
He did play in the game.
Oh,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. You talking about OG Anunoby?
Yes, OG Anunoby and another young big that they had, but that's just the organization identifying pieces that's going to fit their style of play, and they're just not shooting threes just to shoot threes.
Right, bro. I'm telling you, this organization, Leon Rose, and his front office, they on the clock, bro. Because I want, because as a fan, the broadcasts are PR'd up. They are produced and are squeaky clean productions that y'all watch on TV. Mike Breen, who I love, is always going to say the most positive. Hey, absolutely. Welcome Knicks fans to such and such. I'm here with Hall of Fame legend Clyde Frazier. You know, Clyde, posting and toasting, baby. You know,
Clyde will be the only one that will. Clyde will be the only one that will really give you an honest analysis.
Yeah, and so Rebecca Hall are gonna be like, yeah, we here, MSG, it's lit out here. The Knicks fans going, you know, and all this stuff. You get all of that, and then you watch the players on the sideline and the coaches. You're like, this ain't exactly.
We just got, and the thing is, we just got so much love for this organization.
Right.
Day in, day out.
We'll fall for anything, bro.
We'll fall for the banana in the tailpipe all the time because we bleed the colors.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is. We bleed the colors. We want success. We're dying to run on the court. We're dying to rip. Like, literally, can you imagine them winning a trophy and the trophy does not go on the town? Like, we're dying to take our selfie next to the trophy.
Bro, listen, AD, I'm going to tell you this. At this point, we would die for the Eastern Conference Championship. Yeah. Not even the Larry O'Brien trophy. If we make the finals, the city's gonna be lit for the next 13 seasons.
If we make the finals, we would be just making it, not even winning it, just making the finals. At this point in time, we would be.
We still talking about 99, and that was 22 years ago.
Yeah, that's how much we love. That's how much we love the organization. Like 99, you know, you'd have thought we won the championship in 99. No, we did not.
No, we didn't.
We just had a magical run.
It wasn't even a great showing. We lost 4-1.
Yeah, we just had a magical run that even after we lost, we exhaled and we were still like, okay, we'll be back here next year. We went back to the Eastern Conference Finals the following year. Then we lost it, but you know, that was just what we expected of our teams back then, was that we were always going to be in contention.
Right.
It's not just good enough to be in contention anymore. And that's what Leon Rose and his management team has to understand, is like, look, Phoenix last year.
I'll be right back, y'all. I'm going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Phoenix last year was able to capitalize on, you know, injuries and so forth, but they put themselves in a position to capitalize. First and foremost, you have to put yourself in a position to capitalize. It's just that simple, Knicks fans. I mean, like, oh my God, I'm starting to get upset again, Freezy. I am totally starting to get upset again. But let's, you know, how I started our earlier conversation, let's go back there. Let's take a deep breath. You know, let's see the better parts of this organization, the better parts of this team, and all we can do is hope for the best. You know what I mean? Just really hope for the best. Hope that Tibbs, sees that his young players are needed and gonna play more of these young players. Play this small ball lineup. You know what I mean? Get Obi on the floor as much as possible. Why not? What do you have to lose? It's just that simple. It's just that simple. The love isn't going anywhere. You know, the Knick fans are always going to be there for the team, and maybe, you know, it's a time where they're taking us for granted. But hey, we're not going anywhere. We've lived through worse. We're gonna be here, but let's just try and do better. And it starts with Tibbs. It starts with Tibbs at the top. Let's coach a better game. You know what I mean? Let's put in better pieces at certain times of the game to help you to win a game. You're not gonna win every game, of course not. This is the NBA. The other team is getting paid as well. But Lord have mercy, that Charlotte game, totally winnable. We should have won that game. Should have won that game. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see for next week. You know, I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to de-escalate. I'm trying to de-escalate here as we're winding down the show and so forth. But I want to thank all the Knick fans that has rocked with us yet again. I want to thank G-Man for life for showing up and rocking with us for a little bit of his time and so forth. G-Man, you know, we rolling with you, homie, and so forth. So, you know, Knicks family, we're always gonna be Knicks family. You know, let's hopefully the next game we get back on a winning track and we start looking and playing like the team that we think that we can be in, and we're taking it from there. Freeze. Come on in. Yes, sir. I know I sounded so sad a while ago, right?
I heard you.
Sounded so melancholy and jeez Louise, like how did we however did we get here? But
bro,
sir, before we break out, sir, when are we getting on this other sports platform and so forth and so forth?
Let's do it this afternoon.
I got a plan for things, so you gotta let me know.
No,
so
let's do a dry run this afternoon, bro. Soulfinger and Staffadan are doing NBA 1-on-1 this afternoon at 4 p.m. on Lawrence Tears. And what we can do after they finish, after they wrap up, bro, we can just jump on for a few minutes. It could be mad casual. Don't have to have no framework, no title, no subjects, none of that stuff. We just get on and chop it up a little bit. Get the crowd stirred up, and then you know what I'm saying. And then if it's something that everybody like, we'll just make corrections.
See how it goes. All right, we'll see how it goes. All righty, sir.
So about 5 o'clock sound good?
5 o'clock sounds good.
Okay. All right, let's do it then.
Knick Nation, salute to you, Uncle Freezy. It's almost about to be game time and so forth, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna fix me a sandwich real quick and
we'll see you next Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and then AD and I will be on back around here about 5 o'clock. We'll probably just chop it up about some stuff. I want to talk about Mark Breland.
Boom! Wow, let's start there. So you
want to talk about the 84 Olympic team?
Let's start there. Yep,
okay.
That works.
All right.
That works.
All right, everybody.
Absolutely.
We'll holler at y'all later. AD and myself will be on right back here at 5 o'clock, right after NBA 1-on-1 with Staffadan and Soulfinger. We'll holler at y'all later.
All righty.
Peace.